To make our basic skirt pattern, you're going to need these measurements. The vertical measurement is going to be your waist to hips measurement, and the second measurement is going to be your waist to knee measurement or desired length. For the horizontal measurement, you're going to need a quarter of your full waist measurement and a quarter of your full hips measurements. To make our skirt pattern, you're going to need a pattern paper. You're going to be needing some straight ruler. You're going to need a curved ruler. You're going to be using some pencil or marker. You're also going to be using some scissors. And lastly, you're going to be using a tape measure. We're going to start by drafting our front skirt pattern, and the first step is going to be marking 1 inch from this end of the pattern paper. This is the length side, by the way, so mark 1 inch down. And we are going to be marking this line as our center front line, so go ahead and do that. Next step, we're going to be taking our ruler and we're going to be drawing another line from the top of our pattern paper, and this line is going to be 1 inch, just the same as the other line, so go ahead and draw a 1 inch line. And on that line, we're going to be marking this as our waist line. Now we're going to be marking our vertical measurement, and from the waistline, I'm going to be marking my waist to hips measurement, and mine is 9 inches. So I'm going to be marking 9 inches from the waistline. Then after that, I'm going to take my straight ruler and I'm going to draw a line across from that mark. And this line is going to be the hip line, and I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So now you should have your waistline and your hip line, and then next we're going to be marking our waist to desired length, and mine is going to be 23 inches, so I'm going to be marking 23 inches from the waistline. Then I'm going to be taking a straight ruler and I'm going to be drawing a line, and this line is going to be our skirt length line, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that. So now you should have your skirt length line, your hip line and your waistline. So now we are going to be marking our horizontal measurement, and the first measurement is going to be a quarter of your waist measurement, and mine is 7.2, and I'm going to be marking that on my waistline. And then after that, we're going to be marking a quarter of our hips measurement, and mine is 10 inches, so I'm going to be marking 10 inches on my hip line. And lastly, we're going to be marking a quarter of our hips measurement again on our skirt length line. On the waistline, we're going to be adding 1 inch, and that's going to be for the dart, so I'm going to be marking 1 inch on the waistline from that mark. So now we're going to be connecting our marks together, and we're going to be connecting our waistline to our hip line with a curved ruler. Next, we're going to be connecting the mark on our hip line and our skirt length line using a straight ruler. This is how the skirt pattern looks so far. Next, we're going to be determining where we're going to place our darts, and you're going to be taking a tape measure and you're going to measure around the waistline, and whatever you get, you're going to divide that by 2, and mine will be 4.1, so I'm going to be marking 4.1 on the waistline, and this is going to be the center of our dart, so go ahead and do that. On that mark, I'm going to be marking half an inch on both sides, and those are going to be the dart legs, so mark half an inch on both sides. Next, we're going to be marking the length of our dart, and from that middle point, you're going to be marking 5 inches down from that point, and that's going to be the length of our darts, and it can either be 4 inches or 5 inches, that's the standard. And then you're going to be taking a straight ruler and you're going to draw a straight line from that. And then next we're going to be connecting the dart legs from that point all the way to the 0.5 inches on that side and the other side. Next step, on our side seam, we're going to be marking 0.5 inches up, and then you're going to be connecting that mark with a line, and then from that mark we're going to be drawing a line to the center front line, and we're going to be using our curved ruler to carve it out. Next step, on that center point, I'm going to be marking half an inch up, then after that I'm going to be connecting the 2 points together. Then next I'm going to be connecting the dart leg together like this to form this kind of a triangle thing, like that. And lastly, before we cut out our pattern, I'm going to indicate this as to be cut on fold, so I'm going to draw a line that indicates that. Off camera, I decide to note down all the measurements that I use, and this is going to help when I'm doing different projects. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out the pattern. This is how our front cut pattern looks like, and we're going to be using this to make our back pattern. So I'm going to be taking a pattern paper, then I'm going to be taking the front pattern piece and I'm going to be placing it on the pattern paper, and then I'm going to be using some clips to hold it in place, and you can use pins if you like. And then after that I'm going to be tracing all around it. After tracing, I'm going to be taking a pin and I'm going to be poking a little hole on that 5-inch mark for our darts so that it can transfer on the other pattern paper, and I'm also going to be poking holes on the dart length as well as the mid point. After that, I'm going to be removing the front skirt pattern, and I'm going to mark this line as the center back line, and I'm also going to write this line as the hip line. Next step, I'm going to be drawing in my darts, and I'm going to make the back skirt dart a bit longer by 1 inch, so now it's going to be 6 inches, and then I'm also going to draw the dart legs. So this is the front skirt and this is the back skirt, and I'm going to draw a line to indicate that this is going to be cut into 2 pieces because we're going to be putting a zipper on it. And then I've also noted down all the measurements like before, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So now that we've got our back and front skirt, next I'm going to be getting rid of the center fold line on the front skirt, and this is because we don't need it for the front, but we need the center line for the back for the zipper. That's why we are going to be cutting that out. This is how your pattern pieces should look like, and we are going to be using these two patterns to make a lot of skirts. Anyway, thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll be seeing you on my next video. Bye and God bless.